Dr. Yogesh, may I invite you to speak a bit about your, especially Dr. Yogesh, if you can share with us some of the experiences you had with your clients or your patients. Yeah.
I'm Yogesh. I'm an Ayurveda postgraduate doctor practicing, and rather I'm a researcher. So I had been researching over last 12, 13 years since my postgrad days on lifestyle diseases. As you know, the lifestyle diseases are the diabetes, heart disease, and the cancer, and these are skyrocketing. You see, even in the Western countries, in specific United States, the CVD, cardiovascular disease, the stroke and heart disease, heart attacks, myocardial infarction, has been the number one killer. Now, the cancer is catching it. So, and there are the organizations like World Health Organization tell us something, you do eat this. Some foundations, heart foundations and so on, tell us, guide us, do this, do that. And still, we are unable yet to contain the disease. So, when I began my practice, I often call myself earlier a doctor of flesh and bones. That means a patient comes, you go to a doctor, doesn't matter which country it is, the doctor first will take out his prescription pad and will write the medicines. And I did the same, as no exception. And still I could see, as my postgrad research involves about the heart disease, so, and still I see the innumerable sufferings. And then my research began into something what I called unknowables. I, of course, framed this later on, and let us call it as an uncharted territory. Perhaps you might haven't heard about it. So one is about evolutionary biology. That means how evolution shaped us, and the diseases which we get, in particular lifestyle diseases. Why do we get the disease? Of course, because we are not following the norms or the way evolution has shaped us. We are not in conformity with it. So this is something little vague. Second is, I remember, just to give an example, yesterday even I had a talk at the Glenn's retreat center. And I had, when I was a postgraduate doctor, I had a patient, a beautiful woman. And unfortunately, she had psoriasis. Psoriasis is a skin disease, all the scales on the body. And as usual, being a doctor of the flesh and bones, I prescribed her medicines and some of the panchakarmas like bloodletting, emesis, vaman, and so on. The patches disappeared, and a few days later, reappeared. Disappeared, reappeared. The cycle went on for 1.5 to 2 months. And I just got, I would say, fed up with my knowledge. Something is going wrong. And then she called me up one day. Her marriage was fixed. And she said, Yogesh, I want to talk to you. I said, go ahead. She said, I don't want to marry. And I asked, why? She said, I don't like a touch of a opposite sex, that is a male. And I asked, why? Then she said, at the age of 11, I was sexually exploited by my maternal uncle. We call it as an uncle, of course, but maternal, mother's side uncle, who was staying at her home. And she couldn't open up to anyone. And it went on for another 3 years. And I was quite naive. I said, what has anything to do with it? I mean, as I mentioned, the doctor of bones and the flesh. And later on, this was a one spark which began, which introduced me something which I call again the cognitive neuroscience or uncharted territory of the mind. It was something, you see, a teenager, or rather a young girl being sexually exploited, couldn't was unable to open up to anyone, be it parents, be it the siblings. You can imagine the anger, the frustration, the annoyance she was bottling up in her mind, in her heart. And this went on for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and around the age of 19, it just burst out. The mind became averse to the touch of any opposite sex, that is a male. And how mind can do that? Something, if her body can show some disease, it may happen. And this is the way the manifestation, the psoriatic patches, which are the manifestations of her hidden stress, hidden anxiety, hidden anger, hidden frustration. And if you see the patients of the psoriasis, whole body psoriasis, there are the plaques, the whitish plaques, reddish plaques. It's so horrible to see that. And now you being all here listening to Guruji, he talked about this. I'm coming to it later. This is just an example what I do. And this was something opened my eyes that as Guruji talked about the Atma, it's something going, I call it going beyond body. It is not something treating the body alone is sufficient. Many doctors or we doctors are barely paying attention to the person's mind. How does that person feel? How is he anxietic? Is he depressed? Is he stressed? Does he have hatred? We know nothing about that. And this became the second part of my researches, that why do we get disease, lifestyle diseases or any autoimmune diseases? These are the diseases, psoriasis, cancer, some of them, not all cancers, what we call autoimmune diseases, where your own immunity work against you and cause diseases. So this was my researches. These were my researches. Now coming to as Guruji mentioned about the Ruza, right? Ruza was suffering the diseases, and he mentioned aptly that it's not only the physical diseases. Of course, we get the fever, yes, but if we get the COVID-19, right? I was infected COVID-19 twice. And for the very first time last January when I was infected, although I'm a meditator, still I had a pinch of fear in my mind. So when he talked about the Ruza, that is the disease on the level of body and the mind, that's something, the body, I had got COVID-19, which was a virus. I had a fever, so my temperature went high up to 102.7. But there was again the fear in my mind, which was on my mind level. And to treat something, we need to work on level of body and the mind. In Ayurveda, we call Ruza Apaharanam. Apaharan is hijacking, plain hijack. So Ruza Apaharan, that is if we can hijack our immunity, hijack our body, hijack our mind, we possibly can alleviate our sufferings, the diseases. Now yesterday while I was talking to him about some of he has mentioned, I'll give you an example and we see how we can treat or how we can prevent or how even we can reverse the diseases. Guruji has mentioned about the reverse aging. He said it is not possible. Rather, he would say that aging gracefully. And many books I have seen unfortunately, they talk about reverse aging, and which is not true. What you said, researchers tell us this. It is reversing. It is not the reverse. If you are 80 years old, you are not going to be 60 years old. The importance is aging gracefully. So suppose someone is 35 years old and is bedridden, what's the use of that? And suppose someone is 65, or suppose someone is 80 years old and is still active doing the service, that's aging. That's aging gracefully. Now, we have all chanted, right? Before you be here. So that kirtana, right? In India, we call it bhajan. So Guruji used the word bhajan talking to me. I was very happy to listen that word. Now, research tell us how you can age gracefully. See, some of people, yesterday during my talk, I saw one woman, and she was 34, I think, years old. And her face seemed little old. And I said, what is your age? She said, 34. And then I kept, I did the Nadi Pariksha, pulse examination, and I said, this is this, you have this is this problem. She said, yes, that's true. She was stressed. And she started weeping when I was having consultation, when I was examining her pulse. Now, a simple act of kirtan, the chanting loudly, in unison, as a group, the research tells us even 12 minutes of chanting daily, reverse, I would say, for the pragmatic use, but take it as a aging gracefully, can reverse your aging. And very frankly, I belong to India. Guruji belong his ancestor belong to India. And this is so usual in India. Since childhood, we see this, that doing the bhajans and the home as a community. And it's so beautiful. And it's not just, as a doctor, as a physician, I would say, never limit it only to the Guruji here. When you go back, just do it. Otherwise, it is his aura which will make you feel, wow, here I will do. Once go back home, then we are the same. Don't do that. It's so beautiful. This chanting, this kirtan or this bhajans, even for 15-20 minutes loud chanting, even he has done. I forgot your name, I'm sorry. But he has done it so beautifully. It works on our telomeres. It's a scientific word, little. And that telomeres, when they become shortened because of stress and depression and anxiety or the childhood trauma, there is a potential of your chanting to lengthen that telomeres, which helps to reverse the aging. So this is very important. Second, when I see here, when I generally looked at you all around, sitting together, singing in chorus, in unison, I remember during first COVID, I shared with him, and it was a lockdown in India, and I was stuck in a room, in a house, and I couldn't go out. Unfortunately, I was in other state, and I didn't have my doctor's card and anything. Government didn't allow to travel anywhere for 1.5 months. And staying at the house, we have 4 rooms of the house we had, I sank into depression. And although I know that this is going to happen, because I'm a person where I call myself, meeting people is my oxygen. Many people think that treating the disease only on the body level. He talked about the community. See, I shared a research with him yesterday. In USA, the research was done, and it talked about that the people who attend a church service, they live long. So some of the religious fanatics, they got up and they said, look, this is because of church. This is because of Jesus. He's talked about Jesus is inside. It's so beautiful. It wasn't a truth. The truth is because, and he instantly mentioned, See, if you go to the church, there are the people around. In Kerala, in India, in the state Kerala, when I see the people go there, people talk to each other, people share their thoughts and emotions, what is happening in the houses. It's not something isolated. It's something, everyone knows everything of the other's life. I mean, if I am staying with Glenn in India, I'll be knowing what is going on in his family, which is perhaps not possible in the Western countries. When we talk to each other, when we share the things with each other, I call it as when we open up, we unburden our heart. And when we unburden our heart, again, it works on our mind, it works on our telomeres, it works on our immunity, and it helps us to live long. I have seen some of the patients who never open up, who were just quite introvert, not opening up, not sharing what is in their life, had very few friends, and it literally takes toll on your immune system. So no matter what you do, you might be vaccinated, you might be eating the well nutritious food, you might be exercising, and still a simple factor of not being in community, not opening up the people or not trusting the people around us can make you sick. It's so simple. And so when I see here, when I look around, when we see that all people are singing in chorus, sharing with each other, talking to each other, it helps you to live long. And forget about to live long, live happily, which is what is the aim of the Ayurveda. It talks about hita ahitam sukham dukkham ayu. That means it is not only about the disease, how beneficial your life. Suppose someone like him is doing the community service, he's trying to do something good through his books and through his talks. It's life. Ayurveda say, live a life like this. And not being a sexual predator, not being someone killing people, that also someone's life, right? And Ayurveda says, don't do that. Third, he talked about the faith. Now again, see, these all things I call unknowables. I have given it a name unknowable because many doctors, they have either little time or they don't want their patients to know this thing. I started research, as usual, as I said, I am a researcher. I started researching and I found, and I was sharing with Guruji yesterday, if you have faith in someone, doesn't matter who it is, if it is a doctor for your disease, if it is a Guruji, or if it is some other, any person, your friend, your wife, if you have faith in that person, and if he does something to you, if he says he says something to you, the body secretes what we call good hormones, which are beta endorphins. Body secretes serotonin. And these are the feel-good hormones. When you exercise, when you do yoga, you feel good. Thanks to these hormones. And these hormones are naturally immunoprotective. So your simple act of faith in the beloved, doesn't matter. It can be a God, it can be Buddha, it can be Mata, it can be Guruji, it can be doctor. It has so beneficial effect. It has the potential to reverse even your cancer. And I am not telling, this is not my research telling about the cancer. From the USA, the Harvard psychologist, Dr. Jeff Rediger, has written a beautiful book. And he has narrated all I was fortunate to share my experiences with him, and he said, so beautiful. So if you have faith, you should have, he has used the word, one beautiful word, it is called, as far as I remember, unwavering faith. Many people I have seen, Guruji, they have faith. Okay, they go to God, and in the mind, no, I should see some other God also. That is not the faith. Then it won't help you. The faith has to be unwavering faith. Doesn't matter whoever that person or the God is. And not doing this also. Okay, I will pray Ganesha also. then it is not helping me. So I should go to Shiva. Oh, no, 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 no. I'll go to, or this won't help you. This is not unwavering faith. So if you are, for you who are the devotees of the Guruji and the people who are gathered here to learn something, have always unwavering faith. It has real potential to reverse your some of the diseases, certainly, which I have observed in my practice. One more thing about the intermittent fasting, right? This comes under the evolutionary biology. See, the doctor tell us, I see the type 2 diabetes cases, the heart disease has gone high, gone up. And every doctor tell us that you should eat small portions, 6-7 times, right? And World Health Organization tells us, do 30 minutes of exercise 5 times a day and your disease will be prevented. And we are so naive, or I should not use the word, is the stupid. We doctors are so stupid to believe them. And why I do say that then I worked to understand how the evolution works. I worked in the remotest part of the India where you don't have the TV, where you don't have the phone, where you don't get the food even, the tribals. To see what they eat, what they do, what they work, and they hardly have any lifestyle diseases. And the idea of food is so notorious for us. When we get up, we want bed tea, we want bed coffee, I don't know. Then sometime later, we want our breakfast, healthy, nutritious breakfast, oats. Then after some time, we want our lunch. Meantime, we will drink something else. Again, evening coffee, then supper, then dinner, 6, 7, 8 times. And unfortunately, the research tells us that when every time you put something in your mouth, the body secretes insulin. And insulin is something related to your diabetes and some of the lifestyle diseases. Evolutionary biology, think about this. You are someone in the Africa, 30, 40,000 years ago. Of course, you won't be sitting like this, right? At this time. This time, you must have gone to the bed. 30,000 years back, right? You must not be having the phone. You must not having the Guruji even. Not the phones, not the cameras, nothing. We're just the individuals who have nothing to do. Who had nothing to do. So what would we have done? We generally would have gone to bed this time. Morning, when we would wake up, nobody is there to give us tea. Think that you are 30,000 years ago. So what was that? We would get up, wake up, get up, mingle with each other, with the community people, and then we will start walking in pursuit of food. If we are fortunate enough, we may get food to eat. If we are unfortunate, we won't get anything on that day and we will starve on that day. Now, our human body hasn't changed much. It is same. It was 30, 40, 50,000, 1 million years ago. We have certain genes, what we call SIRTUIN1, SIRTUIN2 and so on, which we call longevity genes. They get activated when we fast, when we stay hungry, when we feel the hunger. And if we keep putting all the time something in your mouth, you are not going to activate those genes, which is shortening your life, which makes you prone to get the not only lifestyle diseases, but many of other diseases. So Ayurveda talks about the langan, and the fasting or intermittent fasting is just such a fallacious fad, I call it. The reason the Ayurveda is so clear, it talks about langan. It talks about, simple it as it is, when you feel hungry, you eat. If you don't feel hunger, just don't eat. It's so simple. Don't go for 16 hours, 18 hours, 20 hours, 24. Of course, I do it 24 to 30 years until I am hungry. And generally, I understand that around 20 hours, this is about my body. I get hungry and I did that time. So, some of these things I call unknowables to understand that how our human bodies evolved, how our mind create illness in our body. And always remember, I remember some diabetes patient, this is, just give me 5 minutes. Diabetes patient come to us, and some of the diabetes patients are very thin, and texts tell us, the medical text, that diabetes patients should be obese most of time. They already have gained a lot of weight, and this insulin resistance, and so on and on and on. Some of the patients tend to be very thin, and if you go into their cause, you must be finding one or another cause is lack of sleep, insufficient sleep, and or is anxiety. I remember I had a patient. She is a very famous economist, well-known economist in India, and she has diabetes. She was on medications, and still her blood sugar was high. And everybody, all the time, doctor will put her some, okay, this metformin plus glimepiride, and so on and on and on. And I just simply inquired, what about your sleep and what about your anxiety? She said, yes, my dog passed away some 3-4 months ago. And I just always remember my dog, my pet, in my dreams. A simple fact of anxiety, simple fact of angers. Even I had a patient who happened to appear on the TV for the lectures on the in the India at that time, Sabrimala agitation, the temple entry was going on. So he was quite a fanatic, and he was always angry. So on the TV also, he would pound his hand and all those. And once he met me, I said, you need not be so much angry. No, doctor, you don't know this. For religion, we have to do that and this. After 2 months, he passed away with heart attack. He was just 47 years old. And many doctors, they will talk about cholesterol and this, and nobody will tell you that I call unknowable is even a hatred. If you have hatred, malice, which is simmering in your body, makes you prone to get sudden heart attack. And there comes the importance of the devotion, love, kindness, compassion, meeting together. And you can just do away, almost in all cases, with this lifestyle diseases. So this was just I have learned during my studies as a physician, as a researcher, that what we see, often we talk about tip of iceberg. So what we see on the surface, it's too small, and something down that is in your mind about your childhood trauma, about your anger issues, about your hatred, about your lots of things are there. If you are not going to take care of them, they are going to harm your body. Mind is going to harm your body. Body is going to harm your mind, and vice versa. So to treat and to cure and to prevent and to reverse, be it aging or be it lifestyle diseases, always be a part of community. I tell people, always have unwavering faith, of course. Always have the chanting, meditations, love, the kindness. A simple act of kindness, simple act of gratitude gives you immense benefits. A simple act of thank you. It's so beautiful. I mean, I have a lot to say. I don't want to take more time. The last I will come to is this. He talked about the community. I forgot this point. Now, this is quite common for many of us. Sometimes we WhatsApp someone and they just don't respond. How did you feel that time? Do you feel happy? No, certainly not. What is happening? You have just typed, which is on your body level, and still you felt pain in your heart. Heart, not actual heart, but in the mind. Researchers tell us very act of rejection. If someone rejects you, activates the same, you call the circuit in the brain, as you, suppose if I pinch any part of your body, you will feel pain, right? If I prick you, you will feel pain. And if you are rejected, if someone rejects you, even a message, if you don't receive the message, if someone says thank you and the other person say, that's it, okay, why should I say, oh, good, that's fine, I need not tell it. Even this act of being rejected activates the same pain as you feel the physical pain, and it takes the toll on your body. And there comes the importance of, I was reading in that book, it's about, you mentioned about the religious harmony and spiritual dialogues. We are always being rejected by our spouse, by our friends, by our, I don't know, many people. But a simple act of caring, simple act of trust, simple act of love will will all the time help the other person in front of you. I found in Balinese that even they say thank you, the gratitude, it's so beautiful to cultivate that in our life. So never reject anyone. If you are for any message, you can, if you want to, even do it gracefully. The word is grace. Do it with lot of love, and it will make the other person feel better, and that will give you the law of karma and karma. Someone does something good for you perhaps, and even if he doesn't do, that's okay. So these are some unknowables I shared with the Guruji. Actually, this is the reason I wanted to travel, because what I have found that it's just not only the medicines which work. It doesn't matter. They are Ayurveda medicines, they are allopathy medicines, they are homeopathy medicines. No, not at all. There is something beyond that which we have to. A simple act of, if somebody has a unwavering faith in him, and if he just bless the person, even that simple act of blessing, unbeknownst to him, will work on that person. And it has shown the life, the patient, in some of them cancer has been reversed. Patient's life has become better, what we call QOL, quality of the life, which is more important than the quantity of life. What is a good in, if you are lying on the bed and doing nothing, if you are depressed and living the life as for the sake of living, and the same life you are living with a joyously, with a lot of happiness in, and that is something which we should, I believe, pay attention to reverse and prevent the lifestyle and many of the diseases.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yogesh. And I'm reminded, to sum it up, I'm reminded of a line in Sanskrit that says that Sange Shakti Kalau Yuge, in this Yuga, in this Kali Yuga, in this age of Iron Age we call, the power of togetherness, the power of community is the highest power.